Yeah, so Nestle creating shared value is rooted in the belief that our business is to thrive. We have to create value for society, for communities in where we operate. So procurement, we can't be transactional. We can't just look after costs. We partner with the whole ecosystem. So partnerships like the International Cocoa Initiative, the ICL in Ivory Coast, or the Development Research Foundation in India, they're helping us to develop the economies and the communities in cocoa growing regions and in dairy, with dairy families in India. These bring invaluable insights and the capacity to do grassroots implementation, something we absolutely can't do alone. So we've identified focused areas that have a high environmental or a high social risk, and we focus on these areas, and these partnerships can help us work and mitigate operational risks and strengthen a long-term supply security and community resilience. So one challenge of many, or rather maybe it's more of a watch out, is to understand what's required. So I was speaking to a vanilla supplier who paid for a water well to be built in a village in Madagascar. The women did not like it at all because walking to the water was their time to be together. And in the end, the well, it was dried out and it was used to store vanilla pods. We can't assume that we know what's best. On the other hand, when you have a brilliant solution, it spreads like wildfire. So for example, in Vietnam, farmers were shown how to use a plastic bottle, turn it upside down into the ground, and as long as there was condensation, they didn't need to water. It saved them a huge amount of time and resources, and the plants were healthy. Technology is central on how you strengthen community partnership and deliver on sustainability commitments across the whole value chain. So one powerful example is the satellite monitoring and geolocation technology with companies like Airbus. Technology enables us to do traceability, helping detect deforestation risk, and on the ground we can intervene faster, again using the companies that I mentioned before to provide tailored community support. AI and advanced analysis is used increasingly. For example, in logistics, we used it to reduce the environmental impact by optimizing truckloads, optimizing truck routes and avoiding inefficiencies. And they're powerful sources of valuable information, and it's definitely an accelerator, but we still need the people, we still need the finances, and we need governance support to identify and implement these improvements. So we rely on a few enablers to achieve the scale and multiply the impact. So for example, we have on-the-ground partnerships like the ones I mentioned before. We complement this with train the trainer so that we can train farmers, we can train suppliers, and that we can achieve a lot more with the same resources. And it's also sustainable in the long term in every sense, because if you're trained by someone who's local, it's a lot more credible than somebody coming from the outside. Supplier collaboration is definitely a multiplier. For example, working with Fonterra for the dairy plant, it really helps us reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. Technology, I mentioned as well, satellite monitoring, technology-enabled collection of data at source. This is definitely an accelerator. And then we need to use this data to decide on smart investments in key areas. Initial funding is often the key to make the change happen. So once we prove that the model works, it's then self-sustaining. So the accelerator program in Ivory Coast is one of the example, and regenerative agriculture is another great example where an initial investment then drives huge economic benefit for the farmers and of course sustainable product going forward for us. That's a very good question. If I was to select one ingredient, I guess it would be milk, because it's nutritious with proteins and vitamins and minerals, so it does good. It adapts to the local needs, so we can have powder and liquid form. It's very versatile when mixed with other ingredients. It's like a multiplier. 1 + 1 = 3, a hot chocolate or a coffee latte. So I like to think that CSV initiatives are this. These are multipliers where 1 + 1 gives 3.